Hey everybody, welcome back to Heartland Productions. It's finally the day for the pizza party, so I'm going to do step 2 of how to prepare for a pizza party. Let's go head down here and get ready. So it's about 2 hours before the people start getting here, or I should say 2 hours before we eat pizza. So the first thing I like to do is I like to get the covers off the oven and the table and go ahead and get the oven turned on, make sure everything's clean, everything ready, etc. So let's go ahead and do that. Don't forget, if you haven't already right now, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification button. It usually takes about 45 minutes to really get the stone up to the ideal temperature. I like it around 750 degrees Fahrenheit. I would still recommend giving yourself at least an hour, even more if possible, because the warmer you get the oven, the easier it is. You get a more consistent cook on the pizzas. And the temperature gauge here works great, but it gives you the overall oven temperature, not the stone. So usually when this gets to about 850, then I start checking the stone temperature to see if it's on temperature. Make sure you take the cap off, put the shells up. Let's go ahead and get it fired up. I like to do this a minimum an hour before you're ready to start cooking. A lot of people ask me about this table and the cover. I leave this table out year round. It's stainless steel. I also bought the cover. I got them both on Amazon. I'll put the links below. One of the little tips to keep water from pooling on top of it when it rains a lot with the cover is that I put these pool noodles on top. It helps kind of tint the top, keeps the water from pooling on top. Now I'm going to make sure I have all the accessories ready. I have my launch peel. I usually put it right here. Make sure you have your turning peel ready, because once you put the pizza in, the clock's ticking. You have literally probably about 15 seconds before you have to turn the pizza. So always have this ready. Hang that right there. I like to use this also to gauge the temperature of the stone. I'll put a link to this in the description also. I like this one because it has a nice heavy duty case. One of the things I talked about in the last video is to use fresh basil as possible. So I'm just going to go cut some basil. Let's go over to the table. I'll show you what to do to keep it nice and fresh looking. So what I like to do is I get the stalk of basil. I take a couple of the bottom pieces off, kind of the ones that have the holes in the lighter green. You want the dark rich ones. Then obviously anything that has a hole in it where bugs have gotten to it, get rid of those. So then just stick the stalks down in. Kind of leave, you don't want the leaves out. That way it'll keep them nice and fresh looking. It's been about a half hour. The oven's heating up nicely. I have everything out ready. So while I have you here, I'll go ahead and kind of run you through some of the things that I use that make having a pizza party at home much easier to facilitate. Always have a towel or a dish rag kind of ready to go. So get a clean rag. I always put it right here. It's indispensable. You get something on your hands that you need to be able to clean your hands quickly and clean. So have a dish towel ready to go. Another thing I would highly recommend are getting some dough boxes. These are great. These can fit, usually at a minimum, I have about 8 dough balls in here. I usually put 4 in each. You can actually double those up. You could make probably 16 pizzas, have enough. These will probably each fit about 8 if you jam them packed nice and tight. When you're just starting out, I would only put 4 of them in each box to start off. It makes it a little bit easier to get the dough ball out without damaging it or tearing the dough. It seems very easy, but I know that's there's a learning curve to that. So when you're first starting out, I would put the minimum amount of dough balls in. I would put maybe 4 or 6 maximum in each one and go that way. When you get better at it, then you can load it up with a couple more, put up to 8 in each dough box. Again, there's a set. I'll put a link in the description of these dough boxes too. This one's great. It comes with a dough scraper too to help remove the dough balls. Another great accessory is a cooling rack. So when you take the pizza out, the last thing you want to do is to have the bottom get soggy. So I usually set this on the side of my table over here. And what you do is that when you cook the pizza, you bring it out and you set it on a cooling rack. These are the same cooling racks you get for like baking cookies, things like that. You can get them at pretty much any grocery store, any supermarket, or on Amazon. I'll put a link to this one too. This is a standard cooling rack. It's great. You can get 2 pizzas on here at a time. So usually I cook one, I put it out, throw it on the cooling rack for a second. If you put it straight onto a plate or a cutting board, the heat forms moisture and can make the bottom a little soggy. If you put it on the cooling rack for 30 seconds to a minute or so, that way it stays nice and crisp. So I usually put it on the cooling rack while I'm launching my second pizza, and then I transfer them to these aluminum pizza trays, these pizza plates. And I'll put a link to this too in the description. These are great. They're very inexpensive. Buy a bunch of them. You don't need, I think I have maybe 6 of them. I tell everybody once they finish the pizza to bring the empty ones back up to put them on my table, and then you can reuse these too, depending on how messy they get. But it's nice to have at least maybe half a dozen of these. Again, they're very inexpensive, and you can actually slice the pizza right on these also. Make sure you have a pizza cutter, so make sure you have everything ready on your table, ready to go. So that's all the stuff. I'll put links below for all this stuff. Let's go inside and get all the ingredients. I think the oven's just about ready to start cooking. So one of the differences between having a pizza party at your house and then cooking pizzas like at a pop-up or doing it for a business is that you want to actually have fun and you want to relax a little bit, and you may want to eat some pizza with your friends too, or have a cold beer or a glass of wine. So what I recommend, or what I do at least, and you can do it however you want, but I like to make no more than 3 pizzas at the beginning. So for one reason is that when you get 3 out, if it's really hot out or humid out, you have less chance of the dough sticking to your table if you only do 3. If you try to do too many and have them stretched out, they either start getting really loose and rip or tear, or they start sticking to the table, which requires even more flour, which gets it kind of a gritty texture. So 3 seems to be the magic number. 1 pizza will feed 2 people. So I'll get 3 pizzas out, I'll cut them all up, I'll set them on the table. I would plan on doing 3 pizzas at the beginning, and what I do is that I'll stretch them all out, and then I'll do the 3 pizzas back to back to back, and then I'll let people start eating a little bit that way, and I'll cut them all up, and then that way I'll start working on the next 3 pizzas. And a good thing too is that you can kind of see which ones they like. If they say, oh man, there's no more pepperoni, there's no more margarita, whatever it is that you can make more of those later on too. And usually the first 3 I make I try to keep a simple one. So I usually make 2 margaritas, and then I make a pepperoni. And usually those are the 3 that I start with to get the party started. So I'm gonna stop talking and let's start making pizza. So I'm gonna get 3 doughs stretched out. So the first thing you do is you sprinkle the flour around all the different dough balls so it's easy to get them out. I'm gonna set out spots for 3 doughs. A little bit of semolina on the table. If you don't have a big table, that's fine. You can use like a piece of wood. Go to Home Depot or go to IKEA and buy a tabletop or something. Use that, set it on top, and you can have, actually the wood ones are even better because they get less hot and they actually make the pizza stick less. So whatever you have will work. Let's get the dough out. I put it face down, top down first, then I flip it. Okay, and then I put it top side down on the flour. There's one out of the way. Let's get the next one. Top side down, flip it, top down. Okay, one more. Top down, flip it. All right, there we go. Another thing that makes a big deal too is that it's the temperature outside. Right now it's actually kind of cool here in Austin. It's only 82 degrees, so I have actually a little more time. But if it's really hot out or really humid, once they hit the table, time is of the essence. So you literally, once you put them down on the table, you need to have the pizzas made within a couple minutes, or they're going to start sticking, or they're going to get overproofed and get too loose to use. I'm going to go as quickly as possible. Make sure you have enough flour on the bottom. So I'm going to push down. Again, the top is on the bottom right this second. Okay, I just do that, kind of get the air pockets out into the cornicione or out in the crust. I flip it, do the same thing. Okay, kind of leave that for now, go to the next one, same thing. Get the final stretch when I'm ready. All right. You need to push from the middle out to the edge. If not, you'll get air pockets in the middle, and you want to make sure all the air goes out to the edge so it fills the crust with a lot of air. Okay, perfect. Let's go to the next one. Flip it. All right, perfect. All right, we'll go back to the first one now. I'll just kind of stretch it. A lot of people do the slap method or the stretch. I just like to do it like this. It's easier, for me at least. Okay, then you want to spread some of the flour out of the way. You just want just enough. Stretch that out, perfect. There you go. Pizza number 2. This is where you want to make sure you get them nice and round. There we go. Stretch out a little bit more. Perfect. We got our fresh San Marzano tomato sauce, fresh mozzarella, we have pepperoni, we have some pecorino romano. So we'll sauce all of them. I like to do my pecorino first. All 3. You don't want too much cheese, it makes it too heavy. This isn't New York style, this is Neapolitan. All 3 are going to have cheese. Last but not least, the pepperoni. Cheese on it too. Let's put a little pepperoni on this one on the end. All right, we're good. Okay, this is why I have the towel. My hand's all greasy from the pepperoni. It's good to have the towel. Okay, let's get the basil. You can put as much or as little as you want. You get a lot of people saying you should put it on at the end. If you put it on at the beginning, you need to drizzle it with olive oil. It helps keep it from burning, and it helps kind of make the basil, kind of emulsifies it into the sauce. You can also put a little bit at the end if you want that nice green color, but traditionally most pizzaiolos in Naples put it on at the beginning. I like a lot of basil. Not only does it taste good, but it looks good. All right, now we'll get them in the oven. Okay, I'm zooming out. Make sure the oven's nice and clean. One last check. Make sure the peel's clean. All right, let's get these launched. I'm zoomed out a lot because, again, I'm trying to do this real time. Let's stretch this out a little bit. Almost forgot olive oil. You want to put olive oil on top? All 3. There you go. All right, let's get this in the oven. You want to have the turning peel ready. It's been about 30 seconds. All right, it's been just a little bit over a minute. Let's get this one out. Beautiful looking pizza. Let's get it on the cooling rack. While that one's cooling down for a second, let's get the next pizza going. You can tell this one's getting looser already. A little bit harder to get it on the peel. All good to go though. Ready? Let's get this one in. Gotta be careful That one's stuck just a little bit of getting on, so you want to make sure maybe have a little more semolina down just to make sure you jiggle it around a little bit before you launch it in. Okay, this one's almost done. All right, let's get this one on the cooling rack. All right, let's get the pepperoni in. There's a little bit of semolina on the bottom. I like to scrape it. Get the last one going. Get a little semolina on the front here. Kind of putting it right around the edge so it slides under easier. There we go, that one's better. You want to maintain the shape of the pizza. You don't want to, you can kind of touch the crust. You don't want to grab it because you'll pinch it. All right, let's get this one in. Perfect. Grab my turning peel. All right, this one's been in about 30 seconds. I'm going to turn it. I'll run back over here quickly, grab the first pizza, put it on this pan, set it right there. Grab the second one, put it on the pan, set it right there. So now we have 2 pizzas ready. This one's about ready to turn. Sometimes it's hard to orchestrate all this without burning stuff. This one will be another 10 seconds and it'll be done. Just gonna get this one out. Look at that. Another great pepperoni pizza. Let's put it on the cooling rack. All right, let's see if I can juggle all this without spilling. Put that on the cooling rack. First 3 pizzas are all done. I'm going to get those out on the table so people can start eating. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the video. Now I got to get busy. I'm going to get these 3 out, get start making the next 3 and keep doing this till the dough's all out. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Thanks again for watching. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. This is this.